recording. So I have made some of you co-hosts. Please, from time to time, kindly, invite people and also help admit them. So today's event is all about International Development Week, which brings us to a two-part speaker session. One is happening today, and the other one will be happening next week, same time, 12:30 to 1:30. This year's theme is Go for Goals. However, the Black Business and Professional Network, New Brunswick, a member organization of the Atlantic Council of International Cooperation, has decided to come up with a topic in line with what we have seen as the narrative in our community, which is an empowered youth, a catalyst for future global economic leadership. What are our perspectives and what are the way forward? Before we begin, I would like to recognize the presence of one of our sponsors, ACIC, Atlantic Council of International Cooperation. We have the representative, Teddy Buffet, to briefly share with us what ACIC does and what this project is all about, and what the impact of what Global Affairs Canada does to ensure that no one organization or community is left behind. You're welcome on board, Teddy.
Hi, so I'm Teddy. I work for the Atlantic Council for International Cooperation as the New Brunswick and Nova Scotia Provincial Coordinator. So ACIC is a coalition of individuals, organizations, and institutions working in the Atlantic region to build model, just, equitable, and sustainable communities locally and globally. And for International Development Week, we've been working with Global Affairs Canada and a number of Canadian civil society organizations, NGOs, nonprofits like BBPN, and academic institutions to develop and support a series of International Development Week activities intended to inform, inspire, and involve Canadians and their global partners and Canada's international development efforts and mobilization for action and the achievement of the UN Sustainable Development Goals. So we are very happy to be partnering with BBPN for this series of speakers, and I will turn it back over to you.
Thank you so much for that. You really make it easy for me, because I was just wondering, what am I going to say? Am I going to say all of this? But thank you for bringing all of this in. Before we proceed, I would like to let us know that when youth of a nation are empowered, the future of that country's success is guaranteed. And that is what this session is all about. Each speaker will look at preventive approach to making youth in the community achieve and fulfill their potentials in various areas. For today, we have speakers that will be talking about STEM, entrepreneurship, and IT. And when you talk about IT, there are different branches of it. We have Amit here, who has over 20 years of experience working with IBM and other organizations. And he has also, in his own country, worked with the youth in the grassroots. So we're going to be hearing from him on one hand. Another hand is an African man, a Nigerian man for that matter, who came into Canada and saw a need. As a social entrepreneur, as a social innovator, we want to hear from him, how we can start keeping the youth off the streets, how we can start making the youth, to not be a burden to the social economic system. Those are the things we want to talk about today. And the thing again, like I said, a thought-provoking question I want to leave us with as we listen to our speakers is that, how can we mobilize the necessary resources and partnerships to ensure the achievement of SDG 17, and what role can each individual play in this effort? As we all know, the International Development Week is something that the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals takes seriously since inception. How are you contributing to addressing some of these social issues? Will you take a bike instead of walking? Or will you take a bike instead of walking, or will you walk instead of driving? How do you reduce plastic waste? How do you support girls' education through an NGO? How do you mentor people? How do you educate people to be the best version of themselves? So on this note, I would like to quickly share with us a survey to just understand what or the level of our awareness around some of these things. So I'm going to launch the poll now. We call it an awareness test. So let's see what your answers. It's not going to take us more than 1 minute. Can you all see the polls there? If you can see it, please just let me know. Thank you. So please, let's take a poll. There is no wrong or right answers. It's just a brief way of us warming up to start looking ahead of what we're going to be, deliberating upon today. So please, let's get to it. Let's take this awareness test, and there is no wrong or right answers, like I said. Just trying to check how we're doing with time. Yeah, we're on the poll. We're moving great with time. Are we good now? If we're good, please give me an emoji there. Are we all done? Okay, so it's counting down. Very soon we'll close it, and okay. We'll just have 2 minutes for the post. We still have like 37, 38 seconds. Please, for the 50% participation. Yes, welcome, Joy. Thank you so much for joining us. Please, it's just for us. We're trying to understand our level of awareness around International Development Week in terms of the Sustainable Development Goals on education, on sustainability, and how we can, be part of the change makers, So we're just asking some general questions. How do you believe young people can best contribute to global development efforts? Thank you. Everybody answered that already. Thank you. 100%. I think everyone, okay. Yeah. So let's go back. So is there a questionnaire? There is a poll. You didn't see the poll? 66% already responded. I'm sure you didn't get the poll, maybe because you just joined. So we're just going to end the poll, 90% people. So here we go. Can we see the results? You can see the result of the poll, right? So we see that people believe that young people can best contribute to global development efforts through volunteering and community service. Majority says all of the above, which means by advocating for change through social media and other platforms, by educating themselves and others about global issues, by supporting organizations that are and initiatives that aligns with their values and goals. Thank you. Then on what skills do you believe are most important for young people to develop in order to become effective leaders and change makers in international development? We see 63% says all of the above. So which is cross-cultural communication and collaboration, critical thinking and problem solving, knowledge of global issues and development best practices, leadership and teamwork, entrepreneurial and vocational. All of the above, yes, all of the above. I think all skills are necessary. How can we mobilize necessary resources? That was the question I left on our labs and table. How can we mobilize necessary resources? We have 88% says all of the above. Yes, mentorship, education and training, volunteering and support in areas that makes mentorship work, self-development. Yes, all of the above. Thank you so much. On this note, we will start with our first speaker. His name is Amit Roy. He is from, I think you're from India, but I always say Asia. So please feel free to introduce yourself. You own your story. Please share briefly with us your journey and speak to your past, which is where you're coming from, the present reality of where you are currently. What are the differences in both place Asia versus North America when it comes to youth empowerment and commitment to the growth of a nation? And where do we go from here? Thank you, my brother, for joining.
Okay. First, I would like to start by thanking the Black Business and the Professional Network, Atlantic Council for the International Cooperation and Global Affairs for supporting this program and giving me the opportunity to share my knowledge and experience on careers in the IT and project management space. So first I will discuss about my overall experience in the IT industry, starting with my technical career, then project management, and then digital transformation and consulting. And then I think I will discuss about the how it is being perceived in India versus in Canada. So the key point which I would like to share with the young people who wants to join the IT industry is that this sector offers a level playing field for people from any background, wherein you can get started without any prior industry experience. So what you need actually is an aptitude to learn new technology and master them. During our time, that is around 20 years back, when I joined the IT industry, at that time, people used to develop these skills while studying in the college. And then after joining the company, we used to get trained on the specialized software and the company process tools and technologies. However, as of now, we know there is a proliferation of online training and a lot of artificial intelligence based tools and training platform, wherein the tool will impart the specific technical skills in a manner which suits and adapts to the learning capability of the trainees. These tools also provide close guidance to install, practice, and monitor the progress of the trainees. So I would suggest the younger generation to train themselves and then participate in the coding contests which are being held by various companies, thereby improving their knowledge and skills, and also concentrate on some of the key areas like machine learning, deep learning, quantum computing, which we all know are the skills of the future. And as far as our technical career path is concerned, we can always continue to be in this path throughout our entire career, because a lot of companies, I mean, especially the tech companies, they do encourage the people to stay technical, and they have a separate ladder for promoting them from SMEs to technical architect, then principal architect, and their pay scales are, we can say, better than the corresponding managers. And I knew in Intel we had a principal architect who was whose rank I can say is same as the CEO, obviously without anyone reporting to him. And these ranks are given, I mean, along with the promotions based on the papers which they write or the number of intellectual property rights, right, which they acquire during the course of their career. So now this is what I spoke on the technical career path. for some people, right, they would like to gradually make a shift from the technical to the management career path. So I will share my perspective on how I did it. It may differ from people to people. So the way I did is I took up a managing of a project where I had prior experience in the development and architecting of the applications. So initially, I got the role of technical project manager. So, and then once I had fine-tuned and gained sufficient knowledge with respect to the domain and the project management methodology, I decided to move on from Intel and join a company where much larger and complex projects are being executed. And that was IBM, where I got exposure to working with clients who are spread across the globe. And there I have got to manage the projects in a far more expansive manner, I can say, wherein the scope would be evolving constantly, and then the risks in terms of managing the stakeholders would also be high, for which we had to prepare a solid communication management plan. And then the other challenging area which I faced there is managing the procurement activity with the vendors. So once I got a control on all of these project management activities in IBM, then I got the confidence of moving on to the next step, that is to do consultation with the client and convince them to proceed with the digital transformation. And that is what has pushed me to explore shifting to Canada. Because as you know, right, in India is mainly known for the delivery of the projects. And in North America, right, I mean, Canada or US is mainly known for consulting, wherein we people who are experienced with managing projects get the opportunity to speak to the clients and convince them to go for transformation of their application and legacy infrastructure to cloud or to the other platforms into their on-premises server. And that is what I am now looking for in the coming months, to get into this consulting space in a very big way.
Okay. So can I quickly jump in there briefly? Because I believe we have you and our other guests as belonging to different generation. So your journey into tech world, did it start as, was it like as a youth, or would, when you look back now, do you think youth in India, they are really taking advantage of the opportunity of product development in IT? Because I know that the industry, the IT industry in India too, is a strong one. How has the youth, even regardless of the fact that we face challenges of governance, we face challenges around developments, you know, our economy, again, you and I know, when you look at Africa and Asia, especially India, there is something about, you know, us as a country that literally keeps us where we are as a developing country. How do you think youth thrives in such environments? Let's just move away from the reality now. And let's just
Yeah.
move away from education, professional life to the reality that we face in terms of resources, youth. How can we?
Okay, so in India, right, what I saw is that the youths of the current generation, I will say, in the last 8 to 9 years, right, they are so much inquisitive to learn new technologies, right? I was really surprised to see that how they avail the opportunities to, as I mentioned some time back, right, about training, right? So earlier during our time, right, we used to join a training institute, or we used to there was some trainer who used to teach us. But now I see most of these young children, right, be it from the financially very can say as the poor background, or those who are financially strong, the thinking process is almost the same, and they look for the tools, right, the AI based tools, which enable them to do self-learning,
Okay.
very big extent.
Okay.
And,
So
and
despite the fact that they are poor, they still make effort to literally find and to learn things, right? Unlike your days when you had to go to training institute.
Yeah, right. So
Okay.
things that we see that they don't need spoon feeding. That's what I see the best part. Irrespective of their financial background, they don't need spoon feeding. Only what they need is the resources, what is available to them, and if the resources are available to them, they are able to uh, get into this those technologies. And I have seen actually around 8 years back, right, when I was going to a school actually and showing them. That was from a very so basically there are a lot of schools where people from the financially poor background will study. We went there and showed them just only once how to disassemble and assemble a PC. And we are surprised that after 1 month, right, when we went there to see how they learned, we saw that they started opening the laptops as well. They have arranged old laptop from somewhere. They were opening it and being able to assemble it also.
Okay.
So that is the level of skills I can see that if we can manage to take this IT knowledge, right? I mean, the basically knowledge and resources to the interior places, right? And they do know how to use it for their own purpose. I've seen how farmers, right, who are not so educated, but their children, right, they once they get hold of this mobile phone, right, they know where to go and check for the for the current climate, okay, whether it is raining tomorrow, or what would be the temperature for the next few days. Okay, so that is the level of smartness I saw actually among the children. Only thing they need is the access to the resources. That's it. Okay. I'm in Canada. I am not so much aware of how the things here are, but I believe here I know everybody has the access to the resources. That's what I know, and I feel that if we can ensure that we give them a little bit of a hand holding, right, in terms of like you can say as the training, you can say, then they can also come up to the same speed.
Okay.
And develop those STEM skills.
Okay, so you've talked about access. So I think the first thing you talked about was that, youth in developing countries, using India as a case study, is that regardless of the fact that they are not financially endowed, they go out of their way to learn, and that's passion and zeal. But the thing that is actually limiting their ability to, evolved and develop and grow at the pace at which youth in developed countries are, is that they don't really have that access and support system, right?
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll hold on to that thought and then bring on our next speaker. Let's quickly rush to Africa and back to North America. Oluwalopeye Olagoke is, in fact, I don't know how he did it. He really needs to explain to us how come you went to 3 schools, and we really want to understand what the journey of education is to you, what it was in Nigeria before you came through. Please take it on, and then we have 15 minutes to do that. Then we can go back to taking questions. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Well, good morning, whatever location you're calling in from. Actually, what I was thinking we could do quickly is in the chat, just put in where you're calling in from and how you're feeling today. So I could start first. So when I say how you're feeling in the scale of 1 to 10, you put 7, 10 meaning you're feeling fantastic, and with 1 feeling, not the greatest. So if you could just kindly put it into the chat, lovely. That's great. So we have someone with a 10. That's awesome. Deborah, we have someone with a 10. That's awesome. St. John, we have someone coming from Sackville. Teddy, St. John as well. Awesome, awesome. All right. Well, I could briefly talk about a little bit about my education. So I graduated from Mount Allison University with a Bachelor of Science in majors in mathematics, minors in computer science and applied physics. And it is true that I went to 3 schools. So I first started off my education at the University of New Brunswick, St. John, and then I proceeded to move from that university to join Mount Allison to complete my degree. And so I completed my degree here at Mount Allison University, but also took an advanced course at Memorial University, which spanned the 4 months. And I was, trying to improve my skills in the deep learning and deep reinforcement learning, which is in short form artificial intelligence. So heading back into Roy's point, I found that I wanted to grow in that aspect because not much practical of it was being taught in schools while I was pursuing my post-secondary education, so my undergrad education. And so that's a little bit about me in terms of my education. Like, in case you want to ask a bit more questions, and I can go deeper into it. Oh, I think you're mute, or I don't.
Yeah, so I'm just trying to pin you so we can see the face, because if you're just rushing, I don't know whether you're trying to save the time, because in fact, you lost me, but I knew I got all the details I needed to get. We just want to understand, before you moved to Canada, growing up in Lagos, Las Gidi, what was it like? We see youth, we see people with inspirations every day. We have people, as we always say, suffering and smiling. You can never see a sad Nigerian, even though we're going through things. We have this hustling spirit. We have this, this warmness around us to just live life as it is. And I'm sure you grew up in an environment where you see different dynamics of people. We have the rich on one side, we have the poor, we have people of different social class. What was growing up as a youth? Because, by the way, everyone on this call, Lopsy, we call him Lopsy because I don't know why he chose that name. He's going to tell us anyways. So we want to know, he is also a youth, a persona of a youth that is also an entrepreneur, a social entrepreneur. What was it like? What was your perspective of growing up in Lagos as that teenager who moved on to becoming a youth, and then you moved? And Lopsy is actually 24 years old, or 25, if I'm not mistaken, and he has broken so many boundaries. And we can't wait to hear your story briefly before we move to the next level of questioning.
Yeah, certainly. Thank you for asking. So I spent most of my life in Lagos, Nigeria, before coming to pursue my post-secondary education here in Canada. And what was it like? If I were to recall, I haven't been back home ever since I came, so that's I think 7 years ago. And I almost cannot relate to anything going up in Nigeria anymore, apart from the news, which breaks my heart for what's happening as of this moment. But living in Lagos, there's a saying that maybe I shouldn't get too into it, but there's a huge saying that if you can live in Lagos, you can really live anywhere else, because Lagos, as most people may know or may not know, is the metropolitan of the whole Africa. Everything that has to do with business, trade, and advancement usually just starts from that little 23, 25 million people in almost the size of Quebec, if not even bigger, if not even smaller than Quebec. The mindset in Lagos is you come here, you know that it's the metropolitan, and you want to do something for yourself, you want to do something for your community, you want to do something for your family, you want to be able to benefit from that metropolitan status. When I say metropolitan, you can compare metropolitan to Manhattan, which is where they have the big Wall Streets, where the money movers, the shakers are, and so you compare it to that level. And so in terms of people trying to accomplish things, Lagos is a place. But then I was very young when I was in Lagos, so I wouldn't say I was able to tap into that during my youth. But moving over here, I've been able to see quite a bit of difference, a huge difference between the level of education that has happened from Africa to here. And I find that I was able to hone my skills when I moved here compared to when I was in Lagos. And one thing I must say that I find I used to distinct myself was I was goal oriented. I was looking to make a difference right from even being in Lagos, before even moving here. And I'll give you the reason why. Just a quick short story. At 14, my dad was assassinated by some hooligans that we've not been able to track down to today. And at the age of 14, I started to think like an adult. At the age of 14, the things that people my age did, things that kids my age did not really fascinate me as much, because as the first child, I had to step onto responsibilities. Although they were not put as responsibilities, but I was more or less the face of the family, and this had to quicken my mindset. And originally before my dad, I was hoping to pursue my education at one of those prestigious universities, public university, in Nigeria. And the reason why I wanted to go to a public university was because it was harder to get into, and it was just really prestigious. And if I mention the name, a couple people myself, I know that school and it's prestigious, but maybe not now, because if I had stayed back, I probably would not have completed my degree, which is very sad. So when we talk about the educational sector and education factor, I've been able to benefit from the opportunities that has come with education. Most people think of education, they think of pursuing a post-secondary degree, or an undergrad degree, or postdoc, whatever the case may be. Education actually comes in multiple, and an example of education is picking up a book to read. I found that myself particularly, and people within my surrounding, and even people above my age, have kind of limited themselves to the surrounding they have been, just because they've not been able to see really the world. And the reason, the more I was able to explore reading, the more I was able to explore going to conferences and attending things, was how I was able to really open up my mindset to see that there are people really out there, youth, young people, even people in the higher generations, that are actually doing a lot of actions to help their community, to also inspire others and to take on challenges that helps them become an entrepreneur. So I'm going to pause there because I don't want to overshoot my time, in case Olaito has any more questions to ask.
I'm just you're just flowing, and you literally took me to the next level where I think we need to flip the bottle and the bottle and have you, be the presenter here to literally, take on this platform. Really, I am so inspired, and we're so sorry about the loss of your father. And in life, some things happens that literally shape our, our perspective, and also shape our journey. We might have to take a U-turn. We might have to think about where next and how we go from here. We know that he's looking, down on you right now, and he's proud of you. Accept our condolence, even though you said it's a long time, but such a wound can never, be can never be something that can mend. So accept our apologies, and we hope that you will continue to stand as that figure that your younger ones are looking up to. We thank you for your journey. We thank you for your inspiring story. I really would love you to talk about what you're doing right now, how you have been able to, look at the challenges around you when you came through into establishing Oreva, your software development company. What were the odds? What were the challenges you faced, the no's you received, and how have you been able to, break through those boundaries? You broke that glass ceilings and all that. So please talk to us. Thank you.
Certainly. So when I moved here or came here to pursue my education, I found that there's some things that I was missing for me to move up to the top, or I wouldn't say move up to the top, but conform, which is the reason why my name is Lopsy and not why it's not written as Oluwalo here, which I really take pride in. But I do not like the fact that people butcher that name because there's a huge connotation to it. There's a meaning behind the name, and I do not like that it's butchered. So I let people call me the less butcherable name, which is Lopsy. And if anyone butchers Lopsy, I think they need to really look inwards and see what's going on there. But when I moved here, I found that I needed to update myself in my communication, in how I presented myself, in how I acted, pretty much, because this was a whole new environment. And what I started with was starting to volunteer. So part of those poll questions you asked, Lighton, part of initially was, what are the things that would move the SDG 17 forward? And one of them was volunteering. And when I came here, I was okay, I need to start looking for an alternative source of income, although my parents were then paying my tuition. Like I like to be on my own and have a little bit of money to the side. But as at that point, I wasn't eligible for some reason to start making my own income. Or I had all the required, I had everything. I find that they saw like there was some things missing compared to every other person. And I won't go too much into that because I just wanted to really start from the start and just jump into it. It's going to be a quick transition. So I started volunteering, meaning I wasn't getting paid for the volunteering work I was doing. I was learning on the job. And what I was volunteering to do was to help kids in, I think, grade 3, grade 4 with their English, with their learning. And this helped me a lot. Apart from me volunteering my time as a university student then, I was also able to expand my own knowledge, connect with people, also improve my speaking capacities and my speaking, how I spoke and how I presented myself. And so fast forward from then to now, I never envisioned that I was going to be an entrepreneur. I had my mindset was I want to come here, do the best that I can do, advance in my career, and then in some way, in some form, provide back to the community. But how that just transitioned from me wanting to be just part of the environment, part of the community, to where I am is just more of the mindset of social impact. I found that I could really make an impact in the community by solving some problems that no one or people know about, but they haven't started to put their hands on. And this is where my company came in. So before I incorporated my company, we had a project that I was running as I was a student that was helping to recycle textbooks. We get textbooks that people don't want, especially students, and we donate them to the people we need. So penitentiaries, bookstores that are giving them to refugees and the likes. And I found that although that was important, there are people within the educational system that can't afford educational materials. And actually, as we speak, 45% of students cannot afford to buy educational materials. And it's really sad because if we consider education as an important tool to upgrade ourselves, to aspire to be lifted up, why is it so hard? And so I took it upon myself with a few other people to develop something that could help students. And so what we did was we developed a marketplace platform connecting students who have what to sell, the education materials to sell, and those that want to buy. Because people who want to buy cannot afford to buy it at the price that it is when it's new, or the price that it is when it's fairly used. And so for some people who have it, willing to get rid of it, are selling it much cheaper, so 40 to 60% much cheaper. And so we developed Tosmos to be a marketplace application, a closed marketplace application for students within their post-secondary institution to buy and sell materials securely. So we're taking away the fraud aspect, because the buyer or the seller would not get the money immediately once the product or whatever they're selling is purchased. They have to fulfill the order before that is done. And then the buyer would feel safe that they're buying from a community member who has valid emails to the institution around that region. And so all of these transpire because of the heart of social impact. And this all started because I wanted to volunteer. I wanted to help my community. I wanted to improve myself. It all started because I wanted to improve myself. And I found that the entrepreneurial aspect and entrepreneurial path has actually really opened a lot of doors for me to share my experience and encourage people to give back more to the community. And it doesn't sometimes it be an entrepreneurial role, and sometimes it could not be an entrepreneurial role. And there are various ways of people giving back to the community. So I've gone a little over what was required, but I've just been able to kind of touch on everything without telling too much of the story.
Thank you so much. I would like to leave this open just in case people have questions for our two guest speakers. And so please bring on your question before we wrap up this event. We have been able to talk about how education is a very important tool. There is an adage that says that if you think education is expensive, try ignorance. I am glad and excited to have spoken or shared this platform with two speakers who have taken education as a serious tool to reaching the level where they are at today, not allowing these realities of their country of origin, to discourage them or to set them back, but they are here now making impact and also trying to, get everyone committed to looking at the option of volunteering and supporting their community where they live. So if you have any question, please let us know. We can unmute you. If you want to speak, you don't have to type. Let's have it. Please just raise your hand and then we will unmute and then you can speak. Thanks, Lopsy, and thanks, Amit. Let's just take some questions. Any question, any contributions? Teddy, our guests, our attendees, do you have any questions? So what are you, Amit, back to you. Let me ask a brief question. What are you up to currently in Canada now? Because I know that the Asian also have their community, and I know some immigrants have children within the age category of those we can consider youth. What are the things that remains the narrative in your community, and how are you parents, trying your best to mentor and shape behaviors that help these youth identify themselves and nurture their talents to a full potential?
Okay. So, so I came here around 1.5 years back almost for, as I said, right, for doing the MBA. And the purpose for doing the MBA was to enable me to get into the digital consulting space, right? So there I am still on the lookout for a breakthrough in this area where I can leverage my experience. And I am still in touch with the organizations in India, right, who are like you can say they're getting hold of all of those orphans, especially, and underprivileged kids from the villages, and they have their own centers where when I was there, I had set up those centers. So now I cannot be directly involved with them, but I am just trying to spread the word about them, that people should be helping them. And at the local level here, I'm yet to get into this space because I'm not sure here how are here I believe the problem would be little bit different here. It may not be in that space. But I am definitely interested to get more visibility into the orphanages here or the places where the underprivileged population would be staying. and type of help which they would need to come into this field of through digital literacy. I mean, how to enable digital literacy to enable them to come to the corporate world.
Okay. Okay. So the orphanage that you were part of in India, you say you bring little children, so you catch them young and put them in the orphanage and try to nurture them. Is there any aspect of skills development and education in what's the program? Okay. Okay.
Yeah, right.
Thank you so much.
So basically, the skill development and education that I did actually when I was in Intel, right? In the local languages, we had to see that those they are being imparted the skills. Because what happens is most of the middle class and the upper class people would be sending their kids to the English medium schools. However, the underprivileged children, right, they study in the vernacular medium schools where the infrastructure is not so good.
Okay.
So from Intel, I remember having involved in some of the science curriculum design for the underprivileged students who study in the vernacular medium. And I was actively involved for around 2 years at the time. And I could see that a lot of those students, right, they could crack through some of the toughest entrance examination for getting into the engineering colleges in India.
Okay.
Just because of the curriculum which we had upgraded for them. And of course, the digital literacy classes also, which we had imparted them specially at that time. So that actually every IT company is supposed to do there in India. Not only IT, any corporate company is supposed to spend, right, 2% of their margin on the corporate social responsibility. So that is what I was part of at that time.
Okay.
And even IBM also does something similar as well.
Yeah, I agree. And just to add this briefly, I met Amit when I was working in an IT corporation. And before then, Amit has put in, I think, over 10 years in Intel before you moved on to IBM. That's where we connected, and we connected on different level, and education. This really made us connect. And I am glad to say that Amit also agreed to come to New Brunswick because of that connection we kicked off in the corporate world then. So he sees how we should also understand that sometimes in our space, networking is an opportunity to help ourselves, to empower ourselves, either as a youth or as parents of youth. So it is imperative for us to also instill some values in our children, to always ensure that whatever they find the opportunity to lead, whatever they find the opportunity to be change makers, to be solution providers to some current issues around them, or issues that they see or they hear of, we should be willing to take on that leadership cap, because leadership, you don't have to wait for the cap to drop on you. You can take it on. And that's the story of Lopsy as well. He said he noticed there are some things that he can also do. He started by volunteering. Gone are the days where people take volunteering seriously. People want, again, we can't blame people for not wanting to volunteer. However, we would just recommend, that would encourage us to consider volunteering as an opportunity to also connect, make impacts, and even gain, because not only are you making impact in people's life, you're gaining social equity. Because when you gain social equity, you will be able to connect with people who will always remember your name. And when the opportunity comes for them to remember you for what your strategic competence or expertise is, trust me, they're going to call you, they're going to come knocking. So please let us take volunteering as a very important skill that we want to add to our skill set, if we have not been doing that already. Do we have any question? Lopsy, do you have anything to add on the area of mentorship and volunteering? What do you think would be your take on that before we wrap up in the next 8 minutes?
Well, I think there's a huge secret in volunteering that most people do not see right off from the start. I talk to people and I say, you should volunteer more. And you're like, no, like they're looking directly for the money, which again, it depends on everyone's financial situation. I would say I was needing to support myself as well, but I find that volunteering was really But what volunteering really helped me with expands past what I thought it was going to give back. I find volunteering is that opportunity where you give, hoping to make impact, but then what it gives back to you is just mind blowing. And I'm going to give you a few examples. Hopefully, this would encourage you to volunteer in some way. Through my volunteering efforts, I was named one of 20 students while I was a student to receive a leadership award throughout Canada with an Actis, one of 20. This is, and also came with the bursary as well, which was valued over $60,000. And when I was volunteering with this organization, I was just helping, doing the most basic things and also taking leadership with it. So that's number one. With my volunteering efforts, I was also nominated to be one of 10 students recognized by 3M in the whole of Canada as a student to receive the Student Leadership Award. So I was nominated by my university to take on that. And I could keep mentioning a number of things that have come with financial gain that has really that I surpassed the intention of what I really wanted to do. So I find when you volunteer, you get a lot back from it, even when you're not expecting to. So with this piece there, I just wanted to say that volunteering plays a huge role in advancement, although it might not seem like it in terms of the start, but moving down the road, there's a lot that we all can volunteer to do. There's a lot that we all can take leadership to do. There's a lot that we all can step into. Innovation starts with, I've been seeing this problem. There's something going on. No one has been doing it. Why don't I just start it, right? And this is the story of two kids, one in high school, one from Zimbabwe, who was immigrated here with his family. And the reason why I was able to make mention of these two people is because we had a conference, and these two people, very young people, younger than I am, were giving a talk to people of my age and above. And what made them unique was they started a company in artificial intelligence, Web3, and at the age of 19, 20, they were able to sell that company, and they were featured in the cover of Forbes and the likes. And what they did was they took an idea that they found, and in this case, they were not even developers. They could not do nothing, but they moved on and were able to sell this organization to a bigger company, and they pocketed a lot of money into your hand. And these are very, very young people, right? And so it really, again, does not limit to your age, your status. I find that innovation comes with everything, and sometimes volunteering or putting yourself in such position can help you out with that. Again, sorry for going too long there.
Yeah, it's okay. The 3M that Lopsy mentioned is an American multinational conglomerate. They operate in the field of IT, healthcare, and consumer goods. So if you want to look them up, yeah, true. Lopsy was named one of, I think, top 10 then. So now I also want us to understand something about volunteering, and we're stressing it because once you volunteer, you learn and you also give back. BBPN as a non-for-profit is a volunteer-based organization, non-for-profit. And the impact and the effort of our volunteering is the result you're seeing today. Because we're volunteering, that's why we're able to have this session where we get to talk about things that impact our lives, and that also helps us to model a great pattern of behavior for our children. I want to talk about the Sustainable Development Goal as we wrap up again. The Sustainable Development Goal Pillar 17 strengthens the means of implementation and revitalization of the Global Partnership for Sustainable Development. It is a cross-cutting goal that aims to support the implementation of all other Sustainable Development Goals. This goal includes a specific pillar on youth development and empowerment, recognizing the importance of involving young people in sustainable development efforts and creating opportunities for them to participate in decision-making processes. And that's what we're talking about: leadership, future leadership. This goal calls for the following targets relating to the youth, which is providing young people with access to education, training, and employment opportunity. And it is on this pillar that we as BBPN, we believe that the project of SDG 17 fits clearly into our broader scope of work in the area of early career hookup and youth professional development. This is an early career activity that we're evolving to enable young minds to grow, to be nurtured and be better in what they do. We're going to create an unbiased, non-biased platform where you don't get judged for who you are, where you don't get judged for the color of your skin. So the BBPN is trying to capture the young Black talent and help them to identify their career goals. And we aim to create an environment that provides a comprehensive pathway and to polish their existing skill. It is on this note we say on this call today that we are glad to partner with an organization as well called Black Mint to lead the Rising Star Project, which will be launching in March of 2023. This program is sponsored by RBC. We are looking out for volunteers as well in our community who would like to mentor these young minds so that they can be the best version of themselves. As you can hear, the Rising Star Project, we want to make our kids a rising star. We can look at the persona of our guest today, Oluwalopeye Olagoke. He has actually also established the reason why volunteering is important. And if you have any question on all this programming, all this project, I would like you to reach out to Ovunda Green. Ovunda, if you're there, please give us a shout or just wave your hand or give us a thumbs up. Please reach out to Ovunda Green.
Hello, yeah, I'm here.
Yes, on info@bbpn.c. If you want to participate in the next Rising Star Project for our youth, please connect with him. And on this note, if there are no questions, please let us know what your feedback is regarding today's event. If you have any question, please share with us as we wrap up. We're just 1 minute down the hour. Let us know what today's event means to you. What is the high point of the event? What was your takeaway? What did you learn? Please share with us and let's mingle before we start logging up. And before then, sorry, I think I need to take a photo. I want to see all the beautiful faces. If it's okay for everyone, let us take a photo. Info at what? info@bbpn.ca. The Rising Star Project is a collaboration between BBPN and Black Mint. Black Mint is an organization in Ontario. It's also co-founded by I think 2 Nigerians, Bernie Uche and one other person. So we're going to be working with them on that project and some other mentorship projects that is going to be rolling out for the Atlantic province very soon. That is the email, yes. So please let us just take, if you can turn on your camera, please turn on the camera. I would love to see all the beautiful faces so that we can make. Oh yeah, thank you so much. Thank you. So let me take a photo. Thanks everyone. You are hiding these beautiful faces for me. Thank you. Thank you. One more, please. Taking one more shot. Thank you, everyone. I'm taking one more. No lunch. Okay. Rufina's message just actually got into my photo. Please let me repeat that. No. Yes, thank you so much. On this note, I think we've had a wonderful time. If you have any feedback, comments, please share with us what you gained. What was the takeaway today, please? No lunch after the photos. That's not the lessons learned today. Please share with us what you learned on this. So we just want to briefly take 30 seconds. I know we've taken 2 minutes of your time. Let's have our speaker, turn on their audio again and tell us, just leave us with a parting shot. And then we have Teddy from ACIC, Atlantic Council of International Cooperation, also give us like a brief feedback on this. Thank you.
Yeah. So from my side, I will say that it was a great event. I got the opportunity to share my experience, and I look forward to volunteering with the same pace as I was doing back in India.
So much. Lopsy?
Now, I want to say thank you to everyone who joined in today. I think it really means a lot for everyone to take time out of their busy day to come and listen to a few folks talk about their experiences. But in the end, I'm hoping all our experiences count together to make a difference in our community, and also help this inspire each and every one of us to continue to be that rising star for the young people and as well as ourselves.
Thank you. Teddy, please, we called on you when we started. Help us wrap up this as our fund. By the way, BBPN is a member of the Atlantic Council of International Cooperation. And so I would like to have my boss speak now. Thank you.
Well, thank you guys for putting together this event, and it was great to hear from all the speakers and great to see so many people come in and attend. And I'm really excited to see the next installment of this on February 17th. So I hope you guys all join us again. And thank you, and happy International Development Week and Black History Month.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks for joining. We appreciate this 1 hour you spent with us, and we do not take it for granted. See you next week, same time, same station. The Zoom link might be different, but we're going to communicate that to you. Thank you. Have a good one. Bye.